Hey, welcome back to Soole Garage. Today we're going to pull the front and rear glass. One last thing I wanted to make sure of before I paint is that I've got a good flange. There's no rust where the windshield and rear glass seal. And so I've got this handy little glass tool that you pull along alongside the glass and cut the sealant. And borrowed this from my dad. But anyway, we're gonna slide this in along the top edge of the glass. And then pull this to cut through the sealant. The rear glass is in pretty good shape, which I'm hoping to save. But the front glass needs to be replaced anyway. And while I'm painting, I will just put some cardboard in here. But again, I want to check this flange and make sure there's no rust where the windshield and rear glass sit. I'll grab my son and have him help me lift this glass out of here. And we need to remove all of these trim clips that sit on these pins all the way around. I'll replace these because the window trim snaps in here. And I want my window trim to snap in place and hold tight. So replace the clips. So safety first. Working with glass, got it loose. And voila, glass is removed. And we'll pull all the old sealant out and clean this flange up and inspect it. Make sure it's a solid ledge for new glass. Pleasantly surprised. It's not all rusted out. The ledge is pretty solid all the way around. It's not rusted out. I'm glad I pulled the glass. There's no way this old sealant would have sealed anything. I would have had a leaking back window. Also pretty happy with the package tray. It's pretty solid. And here's a quick look at the windshield flange and the excessive amount of goo that they used. So again, not rust. I'm happy. We will get this all cleaned up. Here's a quick shot of the rear window preparation. Scraped all the sealant out of there, sanded it down, and gave it a coat of primer. And again, I'm pretty happy that I didn't have any rust repair back here. Got my dusty 454 engine bay here, and I've got some cleanup to do in there. So I'm gonna get a cover on the car while I'm working on the hood and the trunk. So happy that I did the windshield and rear glass. Got all the sealant off, got it cleaned up real good, and didn't find any major rust issues or anything wrong. So except some of the pins that hold the clips are missing in the top edge. So we'll address that before we put new glass in, but glad I took out the glass. And back here I have the hood sitting on a work stand, and I've started stripping it down with an 80 grit and a DA sander, and that's what we're working on today. Well, it's coming off, and this is what I'm finding underneath. Looks like a black, might be an epoxy primer, but they sprayed that just over whatever was left on the hood, and then shot some of this gray sandable primer on there. That's how they sold it to me. So this is exactly why I'm sanding it down to bare metal. Just finished applying a second coat of KD3000 primer surfacer on my hood and on my trunk. So that's actually exciting news for me, because I am done stripping paint and prepping metal, and I can let the block sanding party begin. Also spent a few hours sanding and prepping the underneath side of the hood and the trunk, but they've been epoxy primered and coated with a sandable primer surfacer, and so we are pretty close to getting some base coat and clear coat on the entire car. So thanks a whole bunch for watching again, and please subscribe if you want to the channel.